within this space of content creation. Speak to that, the challenge, how they can surmount it, because you speak on behalf of many in being able to get some support. That's how you're the executive director of Baraza Media Lab. People can share this space. And then I'll come to Grace to speak to that issue of cyberbullying, because there was a precedent set. I don't know whether you call it a precedent. The president, I'm on a precedent. Precedent, yes.
Precedent.
So Maurice, speak to that, startups and the funding challenge that Rehab has brought up.
Thanks, Mark. I'm so happy that this, first of all, is happening, because I think we, you know, they say the squeaky wheelbarrow gets the greasing. So I'm about to pige kelele, mpaka they hear that there's something called content creators. And by they, I mean from the powerful, your Google, your Facebook, your what, because they have some level of power. They're the ones who have the black box of, and the algorithms, right, that share the information. And I know, I don't know if you've noticed also, sorry, I'm not directly speaking to that, but if you put your link on these social media platforms, especially if it's a third-party link,
yeah,
the reach is reduced kidogo on Facebook and all the other platforms, because they don't want you to get out of the platforms, you know. So that's the power that they have. They have the power of even stifling, even when you try to speak on a kuleta chini, right? So when you are together, we can speak to that. We can speak also to government, and I really appreciate like Njugush, Butita, and the guys who went to speak on behalf and to change some things that we want on the government. And we have a government that seems to listen, or is seen to listen. Yeah. I'm saying that because, as you said, we need to give time, right? Yeah. To see if they have really listened.
Yeah.
You know, you can hear me, but you cannot listen. So let's see if they have listened. Yeah, when they act on it is when we'll know if they listen. Because, again, there's so many taxes. From the other thing that people are not talking about is the taxes that were put on phones. Because I know some of us have cameras, some of us rely on our phones.
Yep.
I know they're saying they're ramping up local production, but the thing is, when you're doing that, there are some people who are losing livelihoods because they don't have access to affordable phones, because you've instituted 10% on taxes. I think in terms of fundraising, the two things that are really critical is the on duty, whoever is giving you money, even if ni friend yako, your mom, your sister, kuna kwanga na ile like, what do you have to show, right? During the form your due diligence. So for creators, what I've noticed, especially when we came to Baraza, we noticed that, one, most of the creators and people within the media space are individuals. And it's the business of me, myself, and I. You know, so I'm the accountant, I'm the marketer, I'm the PR agent, I'm everything. And that becomes really difficult for any, let's say, grant maker, commercial funder to come in. Because dealing with individuals, even as you said, Njugush, they'll fund this company for that company to fund you. Yeah. And that's where PR firms flourish. Because they are the ones who are funded by Safaricom, then they fund the content creators. And they are the ones who keep the 90 days, 80 days, you know. So that's the main thing. Because they're the ones who, they are the agents, right? I think, first of all, is to formalize, right? I think the easier way to cut that is to formalize arakani biashara ya wewe, you, myself, and I, just follow the legal processes of having something structured. Yeah. That makes it easier for somebody to fund you and hold that company accountable. You remember, Leon Njugush ama Adelle akiregister Adelle.limited. If Adelle.limited does something wrong, it's to some extent you can shield yourself, right? So from a legalese or lawyers in the house, mawakili wanatuambia how that works, right? Yeah. So that's one, from a legal point of view, that enables you to get now the money. That was the main thing. Like, there's some people that I know for a fact, the funder came and said, tutawapatia, leteni your budget, leteni your documentation. They didn't have. And for a whole year, we kept on chasing them. Tafadhalini, where is the papers? Like, just do even the simple math, like in, out. Pesa lingia, to make this much, to you know. So that becomes very difficult for somebody to fund you, because unaweza kupatia pesa upotee.
There's some level of accountability.
Which has also happened here a lot, even at Baraza, when some people mtu anapotea. So that is one thing that shields people from like funding and supporting the creative space.
Got you. We'll be speaking to the